Hope you can see me alright there. This video is going to be about sort of the lessons I've learned over my years from my dad. So the lessons that my dad has kind of ingrained into me, and some of them will be things that he said to me directly, and we've sat and had a chat, whether we're driving home or we're just sat at home having lunch over a coffee or something. It's just things that have influenced my life, and I'm incredibly grateful for, because a lot of young men might not have that sort of father influence that's going to push them to be the best version of themselves and become a masculine man. And listen, my dad's not the perfect guy, he's not the perfect dad, but he'll admit that himself, and he'll tell that to you. He's just trying to do the best job he can, which is very admirable from where he came from. So the first one I've got here, I've made a list because there's quite a few. How many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 main things that I've kind of pulled from my mind that I can think has come from how my dad has acted and the ways that he's just taught me how to live, basically. Now, the first one is I've made a video on already, I'll link it up here, but it's do your job properly. Doesn't matter what it is you're doing, it's a certain pride thing, it's character, and it's just a good habit to take into your life. It's that idea of how you do anything is how you do everything. And he's always been big on me every time since school. I would say since I started high school, or whenever like exams and stuff sorted, but I think he kind of like drip fed it into me from even throughout primary school. And when it came into high school, it doesn't matter what the task you're doing at school is, whether it's just some arty thing, whether you're just cooking or whatnot, do it properly and do it to the best of your ability, because that philosophy, you take that into anything you do. You grow up with that philosophy, and it's something I want to teach my kids as well, is you tend to be able to adapt quicker to new jobs, because you already know, right, I need to do the best I can. And then that's how you know how to start figuring things out. You ask people questions, you try things, you make mistakes, but it's all about doing the job properly, and that's how you get pay rises, and that's how you get promotions. With that, if you're in a job, but even just tasks like how you do your laundry, do you put the proper amounts of washing powder and stuff so it actually smells clean when it comes out? When you dry it properly so you don't put damp clothes away in your cupboards and stuff? Do you iron your t-shirts and shirts and your chinos or whatnot that need iron, so you're not walking about with creases everywhere looking all scruffy and messy? Shit like that. Do you clean yourself properly? Do you look after your skin and everything? Do you keep your hair in check when you need to? Because it's all, I know I've got fucking scruffy ass stubble at the moment, but that's my clippers and stuff are all away at the old flat, which I need to collect this afternoon. But the idea of doing everything properly and doing everything to the best of your ability, it creates this sort of fulfilling purpose in your life of, you take a bit of pride in your appearance, you take a bit of pride in how you act with people. Are you being as good a presence as you can be when you're acting with other people? And it's a very stoic sort of principle in life, and I'm really glad my dad taught me that. A lot of his lessons and the way he acts and stuff is very stoic, which it was probably about a year ago until I actually realised that, because that's when I sort of first stumbled upon stoicism, but a very valuable lesson. The next one, so this more applies if you're still living at home with your parents, or if you're being looked after by like a girlfriend or boyfriend. Real life is completely different to the one that you're living right now. Real life is when you start earning your own money, you have to pay your own rent, you have to pay your own bills, you have to sort your own car out, you need to do your own laundry, you need to cook your own food, you need to sort out your transport to and from your work or whatever you're doing, to look after your body and everything. All of that is very difficult to have, as well as your entertainment or whatever you do for fun. That is real life, and in principle it sounds really easy. Like before I left home, I was 17 when the first time I left home, and hit me like a fucking train. Like, I thought I was prepared and at some degrees I was much more prepared than other people were. But just how much it eats your time, especially when you got low energy, you get very anxious very easily. You go in and out of moods of depression and stuff because your life isn't optimized, and then you want to go out as well, you want to go try different restaurants and stuff when you go to a new place. And it's happened again now when I've moved out. But anyway, because I moved back in, and out again, so now I'm like actually out of the house and I'm earning my own money. I'm not a student anymore. Real life is the building of you becoming an adult, of becoming a man, of starting to take care of everything yourself. It takes a wee while, but I'm starting to get used to that, doing everything for myself. And now that I'm in the place I'm going to be permanently for the next few months, years, depending on what happens with my rugby, I will be able to set up my life the way I want to. And I've spoke about this in a previous video about the simple thing of I want to have a table to do my work. I've got that now, so I've got no reason to sit and not do work for the YouTube and sit and journal. I can read. This place is set up perfectly for me. My room's nice and big. I've got space to put all my stuff. I can hang everything up. Everything's out of the way. And I've got my goals up on my wall. I've got my whiteboard and stuff with my goals for the year. I've got my short-term goals up on my notice board with the pins in them. I've got my values up so I can see that all the time, and I can go and look at that every day, and it reminds me of where I'm going with my life. And I think that it's so important that he taught me that real life, he always warned me before I move out that real life's going to start coming for you now, Trystan. You need to be ready, and it's something that I'm actualising more and more now, and I'm really glad that he sat down and talked to me about that. Another one, relationships. So this is when I was starting to have issues with my relationship about just over about a year and a half ago or something, and I was speaking to my dad about it. I can't remember what I was doing at home. I don't know if I'd moved back in at this point or if I was kind of coming home for a weekend or something, but I was speaking to him about my girlfriend and stuff and some of the issues we're having, and he kind of told me about this thing of you need to constantly look after your relationships. It's like he loves his gardening and stuff. He loves looking after the garden out front. You need to constantly go around and water the plants and cut the grass. You need to make sure the weeds are gone and stuff. And it's just that simple lesson of once you're in a relationship, you can't just stop. He always said that you need to remember what you've done at the start of the relationship and keep doing these things. There's no point in really impressing her for a month and then you just go back to living normal and pretend that she's not even part of your life. You need to keep maintaining the garden, and that's part of the decision. That's part of what made me come to the decision to break up with my ex. Obviously there was more than just, oh yeah, I'm leaving. It was discussions and stuff that we had for a few weeks and stuff, and we were talking about it for about a month or so about what we're going to do, because I was kind of torn between my purpose and the relationship, because I could not balance the two. I think I just moved home and she was up in the city, and I didn't have a contract up in the city, so it was very hard for me to kind of see her. And obviously girls want to spend time with you, they want your attention and stuff, and at that time I was like, look, I can't do a relationship, I can't do what I want to do because I've not got my life in order, I've not got my life set up properly. I need to get my shit sorted, so I'm watering my own garden, I'm looking after myself, I'm looking after my environment, and then I can introduce somebody, in which I'm more in a position to do now. That's for a different video. The next one, this is probably the most important thing that he taught me from a very young age, is you can be whatever the fuck you want. He didn't say it in those words, but you can be whatever the fuck you want, on one condition: you have to be willing to do the hard work and make an incredible amount of sacrifices to do this. Now my dad's not achieved, if you look at the Western world, he's not achieved a massive amount of success. He's been working a decent job since we've been here, almost, maybe just less, because I think my mum's a doctor, so she done most of the work for the first few years because my dad was still looking about for jobs and such. But the idea is, whatever, like, he's sacrificed a lot of stuff to bring me to the UK and then have my sister here and stuff. Anything that you want to do is possible. You want to set up that life for your family. I think that's something that drives him so much, that he wants us to to live a good life. Like, he's always said that you need to try and make sure that you're at least getting to the level of life you're used to at home, and then you can push on from there. But the most important thing is, he said, you can be whatever you want, Trystan, just you have to work for it, and it's going to be very fucking hard, and that's it's annoying, but it's fun. Like, that male purpose is so incredibly fulfilling for a man. Is it's looking at something so seemingly insurmountable, such a big goal, and doing something every day, try and get there. You're trying to get there. And honestly, like, you can have the thing also, oh yeah, I'm going to do it, which, like, I have that belief that, yeah, I'm going to do it, but it's almost, you still have to have a bit of that doubt of, will I do it? You have to sit and reflect on that, because what if I don't do it? What if I, like, for a rugby, what if I get, like, a career-ending injury? What am I going to do? Like, I'm not actively making plan B. Like, that's the thing I'm working towards at the moment. So I've got the YouTube as well, which is something that I find very enjoyable. I can get things off the chest, and I can spread these lessons. I don't get to see my close friends too often, so I can't speak about a lot of this thing, so this is quite nice for me to get these thoughts and these lessons off my chest. But the main foundation is, like, do whatever you want, whatever you think you can do, or even if you think you can't do it, you can aim for it, but it takes so much work and so much sacrifice that ultimately it will be worth it. Next one is not one that he directly taught to me. He's maybe said it a few times, but nobody actually cares what you look like. You go out in public and whatever, I'm wearing some old top. This is actually my dad's old top that he doesn't wear anymore, so I just took it. Some shorts and some sliders. I can go out now, go to the shops or something, no one's going to give a fuck. You're like, oh, look at that bum walking around. Some people will judge you negatively, but that's not really that big a deal. It's just, nobody actually cares what you look like. No one cares that you're scruffy. Like, no one's paying any attention to you. Everyone is in their own head, really. Everyone's worried about what they look like, how they're coming across. They don't care about you walking around looking like a bum. Stop, like, people are way too in their own head about that, and I think that's a very important thing that he kind of taught me. You just walk about in old tracksuit bottoms with holes in them or something, some old top that's frayed and shit, and you just go to the shops and stuff and get shit done and go around. He doesn't necessarily care, and obviously if you're going for a nice occasion or something, he'll put some good clothes on and stuff, but it's like, you have to take a pride in your appearance and certain things. Like, I can't go to work dressed like a bum. I can't, like, if I'm going to a rugby game and after, I want to be presentable, represent the club, represent the team, me as a person, me as a man. There's certain situations where you want to take pride in your appearance, but everyday shit, like, stop being so much in your own head. Even if you got a nice outfit, you're like, oh, it doesn't fit quite right, oh, the pipes on my trousers are a wee bit baggy, then shut the fuck up, man. No one's looking at your fucking trouser pipes and how much space there is and why it's not so tapered at the bottom, and your fucking shoes are a wee bit scruffy and your collar's slightly dipped in on the side here. No one gives a fuck, man. Chill. Got a wee sip of coffee. There's 3 left, so I'm going to get through these fairly short. One of them is, this is also kind of applies to relationships, is know when to raise an issue and when you need to keep quiet. So a lot of the times there'll be like reoccurring things that you need to address at some point. You need to start like, okay, look, you're doing this, I don't really float like that, that's not my thing, can we speak about this? We'll talk about it, have a mature conversation. That's the sort of things. My dad, because he's very sort of stoic in the way he acts about these things, there's some things that will annoy him for a while or something, but he won't say anything, and then sometimes he'll just sit down like, look, I've noticed you've been doing this, you need to sort this out, something like that, and he does it in a very calm manner, which I think is very powerful. And it's doing that instead of every time something annoys you, you're like, oi, you get on the back of somebody about something, or you need to get on every little thing. It's just a way of making the issue worse, and it's never going to get better if you just constantly grind on things and stuff like that. And there's certain things that you need to be quiet about. You don't need to be. You can just be quiet about. Like, think about how much is this actually affecting what I'm doing. Is this something that's really significant? Can I just sort something on my own? It takes a lot of stress away from you when you think about things like that way. what do you need to raise, and what doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. Very, very good lesson. One of the ones as well, be smart with your money. He was the one who got me into saving money from a very young age. I was probably, 2016, so I would have been 14 years old when he made me open my first savings account, encouraged me to put money away. Like, they gave me like a tenner a week or something, just for chores and stuff around the house, a bit of pocket money, and he said, listen, if you can learn to deal with saving small amounts of money, you build these habits. And it's like this quote I've been seeing a lot, is that money only amplifies who you are and what your habits are, your behaviours. If you build that habit of saving money from a very young age with very little money, that'll continue into your adult life, and you keep blossoming and you growing, and then you're sorted. You need, like, having a big pool of money is infinitely powerful. What if something goes wrong, your house burns down, your car gets crashed or something, car gets nicked, you got money to sort that out. Exactly. And probably one of the really good ones in terms of relationships that he also taught me was, because I remember he came and visited the flat, and at this point I was just starting to see my girlfriend, and he was like, Trystan, this place is an absolute tip, like, what are you doing? You can't be bringing your potential future girlfriend here, you need to have this place looking nice. And at the time I was like, oh, shut the fuck up, she likes me for me, it doesn't matter. But that did cause issues later in the relationship, in terms of just, it was me just being a wee bit nitpicky and stuff. I was like, oh, can you stop leaving cups around and stuff? But like, the example I was setting in my flat and how I keep it was messy. It was clothes all over the place, dirty dishes sitting around the living room and stuff. So no wonder she just started, was like, okay, this is how he looks after his flat. Like, obviously didn't consciously think that, but that's what you do. You go into a place that's messy, it stays messy. But you go into a place that's tidy, you keep it clean. You don't want to cause it to be dirty and stuff. It's just naturally how we are. We pick up on that. And that whole idea of, when you're starting to date a woman and stuff, this is why it's so important to have your shit together and have the life that you want already, and then you kind of just introduce her into that. And it's just keeping your tidy room, being a gentleman, pardon me, opening doors, paying for her dinner, all, like, these small things. It's more important than you think. Like, it's just, you want, when a girl's with you, for her to be thinking, this is a good man, like, he looks after himself and he looks after me. That's what you want to think, and you don't want to think, oh, he's funny, I guess. I mean, he's good looking. That's all I had for me at the time. So that's the last lesson there. And it's something I encourage you, if you were fortunate enough to grow up with your dad around, and even if it wasn't your dad, maybe your mother, or any figures that you had when you were growing up, whether it was online or something, just think about the lessons you learned from them and write them down, and just show that gratitude for them. And every once in a while I'll tell my dad, listen, I'm so glad that you taught me this lesson and stuff. I had a good chat with him yesterday because I had to go get some stuff from home, and honestly, it makes you feel good, it makes them feel good. It's just such a positive experience, and I think you should do the same. I hope that these lessons that I've kind of shared with you guys have been of value, and I'll see you guys in the next video.